Hello, this is part two of the video I just made. Less is more act and cut, shut, and invest. A little worked up in the last video, but and I had a knock at the door, so this is gonna be part two. Really, in order to fix society the way it is treating people's underlying causes that cause them to commit a crime. Most of the people I've ever met in prison are pretty decent people that were falling on hard times, either financially or they got mentally ill and didn't take care of it. Had an addiction problem and couldn't take care of it. So they go to prison and they deal with these problems. A lot of people in the Narcotics Anonymous meetings that I've even chaired upstate. I had the privilege to chair these meetings, some of them. As an addict, I can tell you I've had more experience in this part as the addict, not as a counselor. So it's important for me to tell you that I'm not a counselor. I have no degree in counseling whatsoever. I just have the experience as an addict, and I can tell you what works and what doesn't work. The system as it is doesn't work. Nobody denies that. But everybody denies trying to fix it. Well, not everybody. There's a lot of people out there today advocating for people like me. And the whole point of the last video was not to put anybody down, but places I go for counseling are very helpful. They have this idea of the old Nancy Reagan just say no point of view, and they really do not respect confidentiality. And that's a big problem, because if I don't feel comfortable talking to my therapist because I feel that she might go back and talk to my parole officer and put me in deep water, then what are the chances of me asking for help? Because that's a serious issue too. And I've asked for a lot of help, random drug tests even, just to keep me on a straight and narrow. And I don't even get that. I've relapsed 6 times since I've been out, I think. I don't even remember the number. 2 of them I thought I really was going to die on. And here's another problem. I didn't feel the need to call myself an ambulance because I was worried about going to jail. And at this stage in life, I'm just so sick and tired of going to jail that I'd rather just take the consequences of the overdose, which leads to death sometimes. So a person should always feel comfortable with going to the therapist and saying, hey, I'm having a problem in this area or that area, and get that help. Unless, of course, they're a serious risk to the community or themselves. Then, you get more people involved, just out of safety reasons. But they're not doing this out of safety or for the community. Endeavor Health serves their own interests. Parole serves their own interests. And that's no different than me or anybody else. My interest is staying out of jail and being alive, so I can raise my kid and be somewhat of a productive member of society again. And there's a lot of issues with this. Like I said, when I got out of the hospital, the program I was in, they discontinued the medication. Now, I didn't really fight with them about this because Ativan will turn into Xanax and lead to other places I didn't want to be in the first place. That wasn't my real issue. My real issue was okay, I got on an opiate blocker and I had a problem with that because they claimed I was drug seeking. Now, anybody in today's society knows that people don't drug seek for Suboxone because that gets you off of the drugs. And people would rather you get off of the drugs and take something safe like Suboxone. Suboxone is safe because it's hard to overdose, and when a person takes opiates, it blocks it. um, safely dissipates the chemical in the opiates, and the person normally gets sick after that. But the point is it blocks opiates and it works. I got harassed to the point that I didn't want to do that, so I got on the Sublocade shot to even get off of that stuff. I went and got an operation at the hospital. They gave me fentanyl, and it was like after telling them that I had a major opiate addiction. So that wasn't very helpful either. And that's ECMC, our county medical center, Erie County Medical Center that did this. And for the second time too. 10 years ago I had an operation on my mouth, and I told the doctor that I was a drug addict, and the hydrocodone and the oxycodone he was giving me was going to stick me back in the same place I was in. So at that point I had over a week in sobriety. Back then that was huge for me. But as soon as I got the prescription, I took the whole 20 pills. And it set me right back down to the same road of addiction. And it was sad. Anytime somebody relapses and can't get back up, it's sad. But the system as it is now, it doesn't work. For an addict, relapse is part of recovery. There's no two ways to put it. It's trial by fire, pretty much. And it's, you make mistakes, you learn from them, hopefully. And out of the 6 times I've relapsed, I was able to get right back up, learn from it, keep going. And I'm hoping that I don't have to relapse any more times or at all. But when I go to these places like Erie County Medical Center and told them that I needed help psychologically, they sent me home. And then I went to another hospital, they sent me home again. And then I went to another hospital, they kept me for the weekend and put me on a medication to stabilize me. The medication they took me right off of when I got out. Then when I asked him about marijuana, he said, I won't throw you out for smoking marijuana, but I'll throw you out if you seek any medication for your anxiety and panic attacks. And in my conditions of parole, they have me not allowed to use marijuana. And it's a safe, reliable medication or drug. It's a drug too, but you don't overdose and die off of marijuana. The riskiest thing I might do tonight after I smoke a joint is eat an entire cake and get a stomach ache. But as far as going out and committing a crime, it's not going to happen. So, and that's what I told him. It's helping me with the panic attacks. I lost 20 pounds last month because I couldn't eat due to my anxiety. I'm stressed out. It's like walking through a minefield and trying to eat at the same time. It's just hard to do. So I've been supplementing it with THC and cannabinoids. I'm sorry I don't pronounce that right, but and it's helped me eat. It's helped me relax. It's helped me calm down. It's helped me with a lot of things. I'm no longer feeling like I need to relapse or I need to have another drug. Denver, Colorado, they found that their overdoses off of prescription medicine drastically went down when they legalized recreational marijuana and medical marijuana. It's a slippery slope. As an addict, I'm going to tell you that's a very slippery slope when you go from one drug to another. Not everybody can really do that. It's risky because some people aren't high enough or don't feel good enough, so they get more cravings for the drug they're trying to stay away from. Essentially, it's a bad idea for some people and not for others. It's a person by person, but for me it's working. So, and it's legal in New York State. New York State legalized both medical and recreational marijuana. And it's not like alcohol where you can die off of the withdrawals. I can't imagine why our society would have something like that, where if you try to get off of it, you have to actually have medical assistance. Where marijuana, you, you know, you're irritable maybe, but as far as major withdrawal or detox, there's none of that. And I've never heard of anybody fatally taking enough marijuana to die. I don't even know how much you'd have to smoke to die. You'd probably have to smoke 100 pounds right now to have a fatal overdose, and you probably wouldn't even do that. So it's safer than the rest of them. And I've been addicted to many things. I've been addicted to heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and my thing was speedballing. It's dangerous and kills a lot of people every year. I don't know the exact number, but you can look it up. It's not a good number. Even one person dying from a fatal overdose is not a great number. And it's huge. Primarily here in New York, too. So, enough about that, though. The way we're going to fix this, and I like to advocate for especially people on parole that have illnesses like mental illness and addiction issues. Because, like I said, a lot of these people are even really bad people. They made some really bad choices that led them onto parole. And I'm not a parole naysayer either. I think it's important to have a system set up for when somebody gets out to help them along and to make sure they're not following the old patterns. But the system isn't doing that. The system is failing everybody in the communities. So it's really finding systems that advocate for us a little bit more than against us. Like the named counseling place I just told you about. These people are not advocating for us. They're talking at us all day long. I'm there 5 days a week sometimes, 3 hours a day, and I can't even tell you like this much they help. They haven't helped me this much. But what they've done is they've put me through some hell. They've made me relive some traumas that I've had to live through in my life that I never had to think I'd have to live through again. And on a daily basis, I have to go back there and relive some of the most horrible things I lived through. I'm not sure if they're doing it out of kicks or what. I don't think so. But it's just the system way it is. But I've told these people many times that I'm living with bed bugs without a laundry facility. I have mice and rats running around my room. If you look at my room, this is what I live in, man. Look at the walls. It's not even a safe place to live. I gotta come back here every day because it's a requirement of my parole. Can't change addresses until they approve them. Also, I'd like to bring in some other things too. The lack of support. When I got out, they cut off every bit of my support team. Either directly saying you can't be around this person, or you can't go there. My mother lives one county away, 5 minutes out of the county. They told me I couldn't even go visit her. She's disabled. She can't get her to visit me every day. But she'd like to. But I can't even get them to allow me to do that. Narcotics Anonymous and AA are the most important things a person can do on the outside to stay clean. Drug counseling is to get clean. AA and NA is to stay clean. Because after 6 or 7 weeks, they kick you loose most times on addiction therapy. But, so you're not finding people that are experienced in sobriety in those rooms. You're going to find experienced recovery addicts in Narcotics Anonymous and AA and the self-help groups, because people go to those meetings after and they've been 20 years clean. So it's important for me to find out what they did in their recovery that helped them out. and that has been refused. You can't go there. They trained me 18 months in a floor covering, and I can't work amongst the community. So what sense did that really make? In the beginning, they could have said, hey, why don't we gear your vocational around what you can do when you get out on parole. Instead, they picked the vocation for me, which I didn't mind because I love flooring. I really loved that trade, and even wanted to continue it out here. That wasn't even allowed. And I can't get a job in that field. So you see how that was counterproductive. I spent 18 months doing something, learning something I can't even do out here. And this is the way Docs works in total. They're always doing these things. So sending me back there isn't going to do anything, but it's a continuation of my issues. My issues aren't going away, and they're getting worse, being incarcerated. So the reason why I make these videos is because the layman, the common person, they don't really see what's going on. They know these systems are in place, but they're not watching them. They have their own lives they're dealing with. So they're not really, I'm not saying they're not interested, it's not in the limelight. It's not front and center to them. And that's what I hope to do with these videos. I hope to put these front and center so people can see them. Because when you put things in the light and you can see them more clearly, you can take care of them better. It's just this whole system is set up to fall on itself. But I appreciate you coming and viewing my videos, giving me your time. It's very important to me. It means a lot to me. I welcome any suggestions, comments, write what you feel, ask anything you like. Maybe I'll even do a Q&A where I'll just do questions and answers. And that'll be pretty fun for me. So, and this stuff keeps me busy out of trouble too. It's not only advocating for the people, my fellow parolees, or my fellow incarcerated individuals, but it's for everybody. I advocate for everybody. And the quickest way we're going to be able to eliminate or reduce crime in New York State is dealing with people's causes. Because most places, there's even statistics in most places on this. You can find them on the internet, that when people are taken care of, like their needs, like their mental health needs, their addiction needs, once you take care of those two things, everything else falls into place. Everything works. People stop committing crimes. And in turn, the communities are getting better. And that's the most important part of incarcerating somebody, is rehabilitation. Because if you lock somebody up and don't rehabilitate them, they're going to come out the same way they came in. And that's not positive. It's not doing anybody any favors. It's costing the state a tremendous amount of money, time, and resources. Over $800 million goes into technical parole violations, and they're not helpful. They're not bringing people back to rehabilitation. Double programming people isn't helpful. It's costing money, time, and resources. What they need to do is better assess people when they're coming out, or even before they come out, and say, this is what this person needs. They do this in Elmira and most places in prison. They assess a person, say, this is what this person, these are the programs a person needs. And then you schedule those appointments for them. And if I'm doing anger management therapy and drug and all the other programs upstate, you're not going to want to double them up when I get out. Let's try different programs, like geared to help me succeed on the outside. advocate for us a little bit, try to help us find housing, clothing. Number of the major parts. I can't remember. It's something the hierarchy of needs. And it shows if a person is getting their needs met, they're pretty better off. And it's better off to everybody. But that said, thank you for stopping at my channel. And have a good night. Or day, whenever you get to view this.